That's how do you pay these guys?
Great cash, homie.
Leo the Lions, like now I go by the lineup. And if you can't make your mind up, I know you know where to find us. So don't go by blind luck, you should probably subscribe. Click play, kick back, chill, and watch it ROI. And welcome. I am Leo. This is Leo the Lineup. Kind of been MIA over the holidays. I've been kind of having some technical difficulties, whether it's audio, visual lag, or just audio problems in general. Kind of sucks. I had to scrap a couple videos I actually put a few hours into. But now this video will be about the last Monday night football game we have in the NFL season with the Buffalo Bills taking on the New England Patriots in New England. Let's just get right into it. As you're going to see, Josh Allen is going to be the most expensive captain option we have on the slate, and with good reason. He's been balling. Obviously, no news to anybody. Hopefully my internet can load. No dial-up. Yeah, he's been putting in work, obviously. 34-40. He has that slate-breaking potential where you just must have him. The first thing I want to point out and emphasize is just the captain price on Cam Newton compared to Josh Allen. Cam Newton's over $5,000 cheaper. I know Josh Allen has been outperforming Cam Newton, obviously, but for this video's sake, so you can see players at their normal salary and not the captain salary, I'm just going to put Cam Newton in the captain spot for now. Cam Newton actually did outperform Josh Allen in their Week 8 game in Buffalo. You may remember it's the infamous game. It was a 21-24 victory for the Buffalo Bills. That game where the Patriots were kind of driving to either tie it or win it on the final possession, and Cam Newton fumbled it, I believe inside or around his own 20. Kind of an infamous play that kind of sums up the New England Patriots season. However, Cam Newton actually put up around 20 fantasy points, and Josh Allen surprisingly was left with around 13. So keep that in mind. Certainly not necessarily anything significant with the rematch. However, that's the facts. Now, just taking a look at Cam Newton real quick, we'll look at their rematch. Obviously, the Patriots are not going to be in the playoffs this year for the first time in 150 years. Not doing too great in the last couple weeks, obviously. He had a 23-point game against the Chargers when they absolutely spanked them 45-0. However, against the Buffalo Bills, Week 8, he had a rushing touchdown, which got him there. Didn't do anything significant passing-wise. It was kind of a grind-em-out type of football game. Still had nearly 20 fantasy points. Like I said, Josh Allen around 13. That's pretty much how I'm going to look at Cam Newton. I figure this guy has 2 games to kind of prove himself for next year and possibly get another chance next year. So he has the motivation to ball out. I'm going to go with Cam Newton. Just put him in captain just so you can see these guys' base salaries rather than the captain price, where I can talk about them more. Plus that salary savings from Josh Allen being the captain is over $5,000, and that's pretty significant in my opinion. Bringing me to Josh Allen, already pulled him up briefly. However, he has been balling. Absolutely destroyed Denver, putting up 40 fantasy points, rushing for 2 touchdowns, throwing for 2 more. Guy's been on a tear pretty much the whole entire season except the game against New England. For some reason, it always seems like New England and Belichick play Josh Allen pretty damn well. I don't know what they have on him, but held him to 13.4 fantasy points, nothing spectacular. Obviously going to look like a great play, though, nonetheless. Look at those stats have been ridiculous. 4,000 yards, 104 rating. Going to be in play nonetheless. However, he is extremely expensive. Then you got Stephon Diggs, his favorite target. My ex-Minnesota Viking. What can I say? Kind of like Josh Allen. Guy's just been lighting it up all year long. Always going to be in play. He's super expensive. However, John Brown apparently might play in this game, and that's big news regarding Gabe Davis and Cole Beasley. I don't think it affects Steph Diggs or Cole Beasley as much, obviously, as Gabriel Davis. However, John Brown might be active, and that's something you definitely got to keep in mind. Steph Diggs, nonetheless, looks like a great play on Monday night. Taking me into Mr. Cole Beasley, just talked about John Brown coming back from IR. However, I don't think it's going to affect Cole Beasley very much at all. Last 3 games, over 10 targets a game. Even his dud had 10 targets, 31, 22, getting the looks. always going to be in play. He's certainly expensive compared to how he was early on in the season, but that's what's going to happen when you're producing like he is. So Cole Beasley going to be in play. I don't think he's going to be slowed down in any way by the John Brown news in any way or form, but certainly something to keep in mind because John Brown has a favorable price tag, especially compared to that $10,000 Cole Beasley price tag. Nonetheless, Cole Beasley, big play potential, but definitely options elsewhere. Leading me into some more news you are going to want to keep in mind on top of the John Brown IR news is Damian Harris, whether he's going to play for New England. New England is kind of a running football team. They don't throw and they're not very efficient through the air. Other than Jacoby Myers, you don't really have any other clear pairings with Cam Newton, not N'Keal Harry, not even Damiere Byrd, even though sometimes he does get a fair share of targets. They're a run-first football team, so you're going to want to know if Damian Harris is going to be in the game, because if he is not, it would bring me to Sony Michel, who missed some time himself, nearly 9-10 weeks. However, he has actually kind of established himself getting 10 carries. Last week getting 10 carries. Not a touchdown, however, the yards per carry was really nice at 7.4. I mean, to put up nearly 75 yards on only 10 touches is it's always going to be great. Certainly looks good. However, James White could be sneaky, but apparently James White just hasn't been getting the work as you would like to see him get, even in their prior game against Buffalo. I mean, he didn't really do anything, only had 4 targets, so that kind of sums up the running back position. You're going to want to keep an eye on that Damian Harris news. And in my opinion, I'm going to go to Sony Michel probably if he is out. However, I can't blame you for looking to James White to have an outlier game in a game where maybe the New England Patriots are losing to the Buffalo Bills. However, it was competitive last time. Keep that in mind. And after talking about the Patriots backfield, why not talk about the Bills backfield, which is pretty damn complicated. You got Devin Singletary and Zach Moss pretty much splitting it 50-50 or a little bit more in favor of Zach Moss. However, Devin Singletary got the output as far as fantasy points last week. He got the touchdown. Zach Moss didn't. However, only 7 attempts the last 2 weeks. Compared to Zach Moss, who had 11 and 13 attempts. So he's obviously getting a few more chances to give you fantasy points. However, the output hasn't been there. It's been in favor of Devin Singletary. Even though they give a few more carries to Zach Moss, I'm definitely going to lean towards Devin Singletary in this matchup against New England. Bringing me to probably the only semi-reliable Patriots wide receiver, and even he is pretty sporadic and kind of random as far as targets and output. However, he's coming off a pretty damn good game against the Dolphins. He was targeted 10 times, caught 7 of them, 111 yards, didn't score, but still that reception and yardage output is going to get you 20. However, it was his first big game in about 6 weeks, so take it for what you want. Take it with a grain of salt. Seems like a hefty price tag to pay for Jacoby Myers and what he comes with. Plus, if you want an inconsistent New England wide receiver, there's a couple options significantly priced below Jacoby Myers, so he's going to be in play. If you're playing multiple entries, you're going to want to get to him. However, if you're only playing one, you would probably want to fade him and just take a chance on another inconsistent guy if you want to pair a wide receiver with Cam Newton. However, there's always an option to just run Cam Newton naked. Get your mind out of the gutter. That's just without pairing him with a wide receiver. Maybe play Cam Newton with one of his running backs and then load up with Buffalo Bills. However, Jacoby Myers, probably overpriced if you're playing 1 to 2 entries, but if you're playing a bunch, you're going to have to get there just because he has that explosive upside if anybody does on that team. So, Jacoby Myers. Taking me down a ways to Dawson Knox, the tight end for the Buffalo Bills. He didn't play in the first game against New England in Week 8. However, the last couple of weeks, he has scored a touchdown in 3 of the last 4 games, but the yardage is not overwhelming by any means. Going to get you 3, 4, 5 targets against the Patriots on Monday night. Certainly playable. Kind of an a mid price tag on him with John Brown possibly being an option at $2,800 compared to that $5,600 price tag for Dawson Knox. However, he's always going to be a goal line threat if Josh Allen doesn't run it in with his legs himself. Probably will throw it to Dawson Knox or Stephon Diggs, so he's going to be in play for sure. Dawson Knox, tight end, $5,600. Bringing me to the Bills defense, and I'm not going to really talk about either of these two defenses. They both put up 3 and 4 fantasy points in their Week 8 matchup. Kind of random, unless Cam Newton or Josh Allen go nuclear and decide to turn the ball over a ton and they run it the other way. Just can't really give you much advice. And that's going to lead me into Gabe Davis, who probably is going to lose time if John Brown is in fact activated off the IR. Kind of underwhelming anyway. Three points last week, had a couple good games in a row. However, I expect his snap share to go down significantly if this man, John Brown, at $2,800 this week, is coming off IR. They released Jake Kumerow, which would kind of point to signs of opening up a roster spot for John Brown to be activated. So if he's activated, even if he plays only 40% of snaps at that price tag of what, $2,800, gotta look great for John Brown. Keep your eyes on that news. Sort of like defenses, I'm going to gloss over the kickers. You got Tyler Bass and you got Nick Folk for New England, who's questionable. Super random. If I had to pick one, I would pick Tyler Bass just because I expect Buffalo to put more points on the board, and he has had some games where he has surpassed 12, 13, 14 points, surprisingly. So if I were to pick one, Tyler Bass, but they're random as hell, plus Folk is questionable, so that only makes it worse. No kicker advice for me. I already mentioned inconsistent wide receivers for New England. You got Jacoby Myers, certainly priced up compared to these guys, but you got Damiere Byrd coming in at 4K flat. Like I said, super inconsistent. Targets either 7 or 8 or 2 to 3, 4. Output has not been there except for that one game. You can take a shot on him if you like, Cam Newton. And there's also N'Keal Harry coming in at 3,200. Like I said, super inconsistent. Output has not been there. I mean, he's even got negative 0.2 points against the Cardinals. What the hell? Targets barely existent at all. They had certainly had higher expectations for this guy. Can take a shot on him as far as like a deep threat, maybe get lucky, but inconsistent wide receivers for New England is going to make this a tricky slate. So either Jacoby Myers or take a chance on somebody. But just to confirm the news you are going to want to pay attention to, probably closer up to kickoff, you're going to want to know John Brown seems like a lock if he's going to play a significant portion of the game at $2,800. And then you got to know about Damian Harris, the running back for New England. Other than that, that's probably going to wrap it up for me as far as just kind of quick breaking this slate down. Josh Allen, super expensive compared to Cam Newton in the captain role. Got to know about John Brown, $2,800, way too cheap compared to Cole Beasley at $10K. Gabe Davis, probably going to be a non-factor this week. Got to like Dawson Knox if he's around the goal line and Josh Allen decides not to run it in himself. Obviously going to like Steph Diggs, but keep your eyes and ears focused on those questionable players and build off that, because John Brown, pretty significant news. If you're new, feel free to subscribe. If you like this video in any way, feel free to show that and hit me with a like. But until next time, as always, guys, peace out.